So the question is, what is UX UI design? The term UX/UI might make us think that UX and UI are interchangeable words, as if they are two sides of the same coin. But that is not true. UX and UI both are completely different terms. So let's take UX out of UX UI and let's understand what does this word UX stands for. UX means user experience design. Now, to be honest, a lot of people associate UX with digital products, but in reality, every physical product or any kind of experience that you have has its own special UX. But in the last 1 decade, the word UX designer is usually associated with someone who designs digital apps. If you have a UX designer on your team, that one single person is basically responsible to make sure that the app's experience is easy to understand. But UX design is not just about making things look easy or simpler. There are a lot of business goals that are directed through UX. UX also allows companies to attain certain milestones or objectives. In a lot of cases, the main objective for an app is to get business. In some cases, it might be to get more referrals or more customers or make a specific feature more popular. In all of these cases, a UX designer sits down and understands what is the core problem, how do we solve it, how do we make sure that the solution is scalable, that is, it doesn't break as we grow. It doesn't break when we go from one region to another, or it doesn't become very confusing for a certain section of our users. And when I talk about improving an app's UX, I talk about improving a lot of things. So UX is like this big umbrella term, and under UX you have multiple things going on. One of them is UI, which stands for user interface design. Now, your UI is basically everything that you can visually see on your app. When you open your phone, you see your buttons, images, text, everything that is visibly appearing is a part of your user interface. But as I mentioned before, UX is not just about making UI. There is interaction design, there's research, there's information architecture, there's this component architecture and systems and so much more that goes on when you improve your app's UX. Now, you would often find some people that call themselves as a UX designer and a lot of people who call themselves as a UI designer. The word UX designer means that this one person understands a lot of subjects in one go. Because when I say that I am studying UX, I'm studying everything that comes under that one big umbrella term. But when someone says that I am a UI designer, that person is a specialist. That person is just extremely focused on making sure that the visual components, the visual appeal of your app looks good, it is functional, it is scalable and easy to understand. But as I said, a UI designer is not just responsible for making things look pretty. Every time you see a button in an app, every time you see a drop down in an app, there are a lot of edge cases, a lot of scalability issues, a lot of structural issues that come up. So a UI designer is responsible to maintain that library of components that would fill the real estate of your app. Don't worry if things are seeming complicated. We will have ample of examples to make things more clear and more easy to understand. But the bottom line is that UI is a part of UX. So when you say UX/UI, a normal person might think that they are interchangeable. I might say UX, I might say UI, I might call them together. That is not how it works. When you say UI/UX, that's even more wrong. So every time you hire someone, every time you're looking for someone, even during your communication, if you want to look informed, please say that I'm hiring a UX designer. Or at worst, you can say UX UI designer. I would still not recommend you to do that, but when you say I'm hiring a UI UX designer, most UX designers are just gonna turn away. It's basically a very easy way to say that I don't understand design. Let me give you a quick example of what is UX and what is UI. Assume that there's a fictional app that allows me to sell my courses. Here is a screen that is called the onboarding screen. It's basically the first screen that your users will see when they download the app. The elements that you can visually see, the picture, the button, the text, All of this comes under my UI. The UX of the screen is something that you can't see visibly, but it is happening in the back. It can be felt when a user is interacting. You can feel how the UX has been fine-tuned. For example, I launched this app and I see in my stats that a lot of people are dropping from this point. They come to the onboarding screen, but they leave the app. And when we asked a few users, they said that we came, but we didn't understand what this app will do. Or a lot of people said that there was not enough incentive to download the app, so we just deleted it. So hypothetically, you would go back to your whiteboard, research, and figure out how you can solve the UX of this app by making subtle changes to the UI. So the solution might be adding a carousel instead of having a single image, maybe having a better image that gives you much more inclination. And even in that, carousel images change automatically, so you don't rely on your users to change the carousel. Moreover, having a sticker that says first month free, that gives you a monetary incentive to create the account because you have nothing to lose. Now, visually and structurally, things are pretty much the same. But now, by adding a few minor adjustments, by researching and figuring out what was the issue, I have improved the user experience of this app. I have improved the conversions of all the people who have downloaded the app. Now, this was a pretty basic example, but in general, this is what UX designers would do. They would help you to attain certain objectives as a business. So the most common questions that entrepreneurs have is the average salary of a UX designer. Now, I live in India, so I know what is the Indian scenario, but it keeps on changing. As of August 2022, the average stipend for a UX design intern in a good company is around 30 to 35,000. There are some companies that might give till 40,000 as well, but this is the average for a good designer. Now, what do I mean by a good designer? We will cover that in a later module, but in general, an intern is specifically a person who understands the basics of UX, who understands Figma, the tool where you design your apps, and has at least 1 year of experience designing actual apps, actually understanding how UI is designed, understanding how Figma works. If you want to hire good full-time folks, then the average salary is around 65,000 rupees to 90,000 rupees. Now, what are these good UX designer folks who should join you full-time? Mostly people who have around 2 to 2.5 years of experience designing solutions, and they have shipping experience as well. So when I say shipping experience, it means that they have designed something, they have collaborated with developers and product managers, or they have simply helped freelance clients to actually ship something. Whatever that they have designed is out there. Maybe they have participated in college hackathons, maybe they have worked for an agency. If not, when you see their case study, you can figure out that yes, this person can understand different edge cases. This person understands scalability. They're good with their visual designing skills. They're good at their communication skills. They know how to define a problem. We'll figure out all these things. I'll tell you what to look for when you're hiring your full-time folks. But as I said, the average salary is going to be around 65,000 to 90,000 rupees per month for a full-time folk, and around 30,000 to 35,000 rupees per month for an intern. A lot of people say that we should outsource it, we should get an agency to do it. But if you're willing to do this for the long term, if you're actually opening a tech app, I would recommend you to have in-house folks, because it's very, very important. I will tell you in the upcoming videos the pros and cons of outsourcing it versus in-house versus agency. But the bottom line is, please get someone who's in your in-house team, because it is really important to have one permanent UX designer in your team for just maintenance and scalability issues. Now, before ending this video, here are 3 very cool resources that you should explore while you're understanding how to make products and how to ship good products. First is growth.design. You are going to love this one. If you're a startup founder, this one single website is going to help you learn from all the big companies and big applications that you and I use on a regular basis. The interesting part about growth.design is that they teach through storytelling. So they have case studies and also a place where you can understand the psychology behind all the mental models. So I would recommend you to spend some time on this website, make notes in your Notion diary, and just document what you pick from multiple case studies. Second is mobin.design. Now, if you are launching a tech app which is primarily for mobile users, this website is going to help you a lot because Mobin collects screenshots from apps launched from all over the world. They have hundreds and thousands of screenshots. You can select a specific app, check out what they are doing for individual aspects of their application. They have this feature called dictionary where you can choose specific aspects of an app. Could be onboarding, could be login, could be password change, anything that you want, right? And Mobin will show you how multiple successful apps are executing that part of their experience. You can find all these websites in the description. Last is the Muesli plugin. It's a Chrome extension. I personally love it because what this does is every time you open a new tab, it would curate these really cool websites and design news from all over the world. They also have their own publication on Medium, so you can check that out as well. It's just like this very quick daily dose of web design inspiration and UX design inspiration. It's just a nice extension to have, so you can go through whatever they are recommending and document whatever you like. So I hope this video cleared out some basic doubts about UX and UI and average salaries. The resources that I've shared will give you a lot of insight, but yes, there's a lot of interesting stuff coming up, so I will see you in the next video. If you like this video, make sure you click on like and hit the subscribe button. I regularly upload videos on UX design, marketing and storytelling.